She blurted out on air. She has Doria Ragland's criminal files.
Let's get rid of the word if.
Okay.
There was a sex tape.
Oh, shit.
It was shocked to me. And I saw it, and I know it was her.
The father who actually brought her up, who paid for her private education while her mother was in jail.
What do you have? She says, a guy sent me a tape of this model/actress. And she says, her name is Meghan, and she's about to marry a prince.
Doria Ragland had indeed gone to prison, which would suggest why she abandoned her daughter Meghan Markle for all of those teenage years, allowing her to be raised solo by her father Thomas Markle.
Is this the face you make when picking out a Christmas tree? Is it just totally full of Christmas cheer?
Called her embarrassing and cruel and says she's never been authentic and fakes it for the camera. Did you understand any of the words that Meghan just said? I don't understand them. What does she mean by navigating? Meghan begged her father to stop making same mistake. She's not the hypocrite. The statement is shocking. It's shockingly cold-hearted even by Meghan Markle's standards.
It's very, very bad for both of them. Meghan, who screamed, don't leave me, don't leave me. And Harry, who actually has leaned on his mother-in-law to be helpful emotionally to him. But she's going. It's very, very bad for both of them. Meghan, who screamed, don't leave me, don't leave me. And Harry, who actually has leaned on his mother-in-law to be helpful emotionally to him. But she's going.
Meghan Markle and her own mother, Doria Ragland. She has been completely miserable in the last couple of public appearances that the fake Duchess forced on her. Doria, are we ever going to find out the truth, Tash, about what she got up to? Of course, both Lady Colin Campbell and Samantha Markle on special episodes here on Outspoken have revealed a lot about what was going on during those years, which did seem to include at least the proximity to drugs. What do you make of this new on-air claim?
That Meghan Markle was as kind as you are, beautiful people. I reported that Meghan Markle had not reached out to her father, sending an email to a old email address that she did reach out to him. You know what it is like? It's like you phone somebody at home when you know they're not there. So you can say, hey, I called you, but you were not there.
For most of Meghan Markle's early life, the version people hear today doesn't line up with what was happening back then. She didn't grow up with her mother. She grew up with her father. Thomas Markle covered the private school fees. He was present. He remained involved.
As the father, the man who raised her solo when her mum ditched her during her teenage years.
Her compassion for the father who actually brought her up, who paid for her private education.
Meghan Markle always reaches out to set him up, and she didn't know about it. It has always been my firm belief that Meghan Markle set her own father up because she didn't want him to come to the wedding. Now, what's really, really troublesome for me, guys, is the fact that Carl Larson, this horrible pap, who is also Meghan Markle's go-to paparazzi, is now saying, hooray, we got Meghan to call her father. How would he know?
While other parents were simply dropping their children off, he stood at the gate, paying the costs, making sure she had chances many kids never experience. Meanwhile, her mother was absent, not visiting, not stopping by quietly, gone for years at a time. That absence has never been clearly explained. No dates, no solid reason, no clear timeline.
Meghan Markle howled, "Don't leave me," as her mother, Doria Ragland, moved out of her and her hen-pecked husband, Prince Harry's Montecito mansion, RadarOnline.com can reveal. She's seen how her daughter treats people, and as a calm yogi, she simply doesn't want to put up with it. Now, I would argue Doria had actually enabled a lot of this bad behavior by Meghan, and I would also argue that Doria should absolutely have stepped in when Meghan Markle decided to kick her father to the curb. Because if there's one human being in the world who knows that Thomas Markle was the main caregiver to Meghan during her very difficult teenage years,
only loose terms like absent, away, or living her own life which sounds mild until you understand how long that absence really lasted. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about asking a question that simply won't disappear.
Meghan didn't treat her father the way that she is now treating her. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind and Prince Harry's biographer, joins us now. Angela, things haven't been good for some time between Doria and Meghan Markle, have they? It's been very obvious in Doria's couple of brief appearances on Meghan's media projects that she's just not interested. She doesn't like being dragged into the spotlight and used in the same way. And then, of course, we listened to that Tina Knowles podcast where it was like, oh no, my mum just decided to go to Beyonce without me. And that was a real key moment.
How does a mother vanish from her daughter's life for so many years, then return right when the cameras show up? People didn't question this out of hate. They questioned it because the numbers don't add up. Childhood memories, school days, teenage moments, all show one parent present and one missing. And once you see that gap, it stays with you. Because every later story is built on those missing years never fully explained. That's where this truly starts. This is when things shifted. Not a forum, not a comment thread, not a YouTuber speaking softly. Live television. On GB News during a tense panel, one contributor suddenly said what no one else had.
Breaking right now, an on-air crisis at GB News after one of its main contributors revealed live on air, or at least claimed.
They said Meghan's mother had been in prison. Not hinted at, not carefully worded, said it directly on air as the cameras rolled. The reaction was instant. People froze. Someone tried to redirect the conversation.
Who paid for her private education while her mother was in jail, who took huge care of her, and she's not seen him in the latter years. More importantly, I mean, she's not just seen him, she's like totally snubbed him.
When was her mum in jail? When was her mum in jail?
Years ago.
I didn't know that.
Do you want me to give you the precise date, time? Because I haven't got it.
I've never heard that before.
Years ago. Anyway, she, but you know, this older gentleman now could be dying.
Yeah.
He needs to see his daughter.
Another panel member hurried to push the discussion somewhere safer. That's the signal. Because when something is flat out false on live TV, producers interrupt, hosts shut it down, lawyers react fast. Instead, viewers saw confusion and avoidance, uneasy laughter, tense shifts, a sudden jump to a different topic. No correction, no, that's wrong. Just move on fast. And that moment mattered, because once something leaves the internet and hits mainstream television, everything changes. You can't take it back. Even if it's disputed, even if it's messy, people immediately ask the same thing. If it's so absurd, why wasn't it stopped right there? That single moment caused more damage than countless rumors ever did. Because it wasn't planned, it wasn't polished, it slipped out, and everyone reacted like it wasn't meant to. This is where things get uncomfortable.
Jonathan, let's just bring yourself in now. What's your take on this? To me, it reminds me almost of when we heard the news about King Charles with the enlarged prostate and people asking, will Harry come back to see his father? You know, is this other people's business, or should we just leave them to it? It's Meghan's decision whether she goes or not.
I thought we didn't know what the King's cancer was.
No, it was just an enlarged prostate. That's never been confirmed.
Meghan Markle is no stranger to lawyers. We've seen lawsuits over letters, photos, headlines, privacy, wording, even tone. She has taken media outlets to court across 2 continents. She has corrected stories within hours when she chooses to. So when something major is said and nothing follows, people notice. No lawsuit, no official denial, no paperwork released, no calm statement clearing it up. Just silence. And silence carries its own weight. Because when someone known for pushing back hard suddenly doesn't,
Everyone's freaking out because potential truth bombs are being dropped here, there, and everywhere. But
maybe that's why she brought up the King's prostate to try and change the conversation quickly.
Exactly, and it's also he doesn't really, he's made it clear he doesn't want anyone to know the details of his cancer treatment.
Yeah. It creates a void, and audiences fill voids. People began asking, if this is completely fake, why not shut it down immediately? Why let it linger? Why allow the rumors to grow? Instead of stopping it, the quiet let it spread. Clips moved around. People replayed them. Others noticed it wasn't being erased like past stories had been. That's when curiosity turns into suspicion. Because to the public, silence doesn't look classy. It looks calculated. especially when that silence appears around one specific subject.
And that's because Doria is worse than Meghan. Doria is the one that has perpetuated all of this because she has always been kind of like that evil stepmother, I believe, to Thomas Jr. and Samantha. She's always tried to exclude them. And when we hear Meghan talk about, well, you better tell your children, Thomas and Samantha, that if, you stop speaking to them or I'll never speak with you. Well, that I think comes from Doria being the evil stepmother.
At that stage, it's no longer about truth or lies. It becomes about why this topic is treated differently from all others. Here's the part that truly angers people. Through all of this, the missing mother years, the unclear explanations, one person was always there, Thomas Markle. He wasn't on the sidelines. He paid for private Catholic school. He funded college. He attended graduations. He worked long hours in television so his daughter could live a life most kids never do. When her mother was absent, he wasn't. Yet he's the one who was cut off. Not slowly, completely. No visits, no calls, no forgiveness. Even as his health collapsed, even as he landed in hospital, even after serious medical crises. Gone. That's what left people stunned.
The way that Meghan's behaved, the way that she's completely ghosted him, the fact that Harry never met him, those two added to the pile-on. They poured petrol on the fire of Thomas being, this apparent terrible dad that had taken care of her and given her every opportunity his entire life to the detriment of his own finances.
Because the punishment didn't fit the mistake. A few staged paparazzi photos. Poor judgment, yes, but that's all. No drugs, no jail, no abandonment, just embarrassment. Meanwhile, the parent who missed large parts of Meghan's childhood sat front row at the royal wedding, smiling, ready for cameras, protected. That contrast is what lingers. This isn't gossip, it's simple math. One parent stayed when no one was watching, one parent returned when the spotlight arrived, and only one of them was erased. For many viewers, this no longer felt confusing. It felt intentional. And here's what few want to say out loud. Rumors don't last this long unless something keeps them alive.
He needs somebody with his best interest at heart with him, and I don't think Meghan Markle is one of them, in spite of the fact that he keeps calling out for her. I guess that when you're in the latter stages of your life and you find yourself very sick, without a foot, not knowing if you're going to make it or not, facing major operations, you want to kind of wrap up your life and fix whatever is unfixable. I don't know. Please let me know what you think in your comments. I found that very uncomfortable to see Mr. Markle portrayed like that and slurring his words, because clearly he's under the effects of anesthesia. But what a disgusting woman. And talking about Meghan Markle being disgusting.
Over time, the explanations have shifted based on who's telling the story. Sometimes it's framed as privacy, sometimes as independence. Other times it's vague talk about separate paths. Occasionally, there are hints about hard years, bad influences, or time away. But the central issue never changes. There's a long period where Meghan's mother simply wasn't present, and no one has ever provided a clear adult timeline that puts the issue to rest. That's why the theories keep changing. Prison, drugs, rehab, a commune, avoiding responsibility. People debate the details because the details don't exist. When there's no official version with dates and facts, speculation grows. And once multiple stories circle the same missing years, people stop caring which rumor is right. They focus on the pattern instead. Gone for years, returns later, never properly explained. If it were simple, it would have been resolved and forgotten, but it wasn't. Every attempt to smooth it over just raises more questions. That's why this subject never stays buried, no matter how often it's dismissed. Because stories don't linger like this unless something in the middle is still accounted for. This is where things quietly veered off course. Netflix was meant to be the safe zone. Big budget, full control, friendly editing, a place where nothing awkward slips through unless intended. That's how these deals usually go. But that's not what audiences saw. When With Love Meghan arrived, it didn't feel guarded.
So I'm a little confused why it wasn't just called a Christmas special and instead they opted for a holiday special. I feel like that would have made sense if it came out earlier in the season, like around November, like earlier in November before Thanksgiving. It would have made sense for it to be a holiday special because it would have like kind of been for the whole holiday season and the vibe across Thanksgiving all the way through till Christmas. So I feel like it doesn't make that much sense for it to be called a holiday special when it's really all about Christmas and came out in December after Thanksgiving.
There was no huge promotional push, no cultural moment, no celebratory rollout. It appeared and then faded. The rankings made that clear quickly. In streaming, platform silence says a lot. When they believe, they promote. When they doubt, they pull back. And here's the real sign. Netflix didn't polish it. They kept the pauses. They kept the awkward moments. They left in scenes most PR teams would fight to remove. That isn't accidental. It signals a shift. Studios do this when they stop placing long-term bets. They protect themselves. They let the footage stand so no one can later claim it was hidden. Suddenly, the show wasn't about recipes or atmosphere. Viewers began studying expressions, reactions, power balances. And once an audience watches that way, everything changes. Netflix didn't go after her. They didn't expose anything. They simply stopped softening the landings. And in Hollywood, when a platform loosens its hold, it usually means they feel instability under the person they supported. This is where many viewers stopped listening and started observing.
Meghan Markle dropped a trailer for the holiday special on Netflix, the last dying breath of With Love Meghan. At least there won't be any more, as far as we know. I can't imagine they would want to have more, but I will spare you clips of it. It starts with Meghan trying to sort of skip through some trees, which just looks silly, a little bit too try hard for my taste.
Because Netflix left in moments most shows quietly cut out. Scenes where someone else is praised and the response isn't warm. Moments when attention moves and the energy dips. Times where a smile appears quickly and fades just as fast. The Naomi Osaka scenes stood out right away. Same setting, same activity, very different mood. Naomi seems polite, detached, like she's watching the clock. Meghan keeps searching for reassurance. Small remarks, sideways looks, pauses clearly waiting for approval. It never comes, and Netflix doesn't edit it out. Then there are the subtle moments. Crew members praising someone else's effort. A guest receiving a compliment. A wreath, a plate, a craft. Tiny details. And the camera catches irritation. A glance away. A sudden exit. A flat response where enthusiasm was expected. These aren't explosions, they're signals. And signals get replayed. Slowed down. Shared. Debated in comment sections over what a single look meant. That's the risky territory for anyone built on image.
Meghan Markle seems like she is in the loony bin, and no disrespect to anybody who's ever been in the loony bin, those who might be watching us in the loony bin right now, but Meghan Markle, it's like she's doing arts and crafts, and they've given her those scissors they give to children where they don't have any sharp edges. They're like, let the girl do arts and crafts under supervision, let her play in the fake kitchen with the camera crew. Nothing about this feels real to me. And then what really stuck out to me was that her dog Guy is in the show. So her dog is in the show.
They simply let the camera keep running. And once viewers feel they're seeing something unfiltered, they lean in harder than ever. Because now it doesn't feel staged. It feels revealing. This is where many viewers paused. Not because anything was proven, but because of how the story resurfaced. An old clip began circulating again. A podcast. A man known for celebrity scandals describing a phone call he claimed to receive. Not fan page gossip, but someone detailing a specific situation, a specific tape, and one sentence that made people go quiet. She's about to marry a prince. That timing is why this never fully vanished. According to the account, the tape was years old, recorded before royal life, before the engagement, before everything tightened up. And yet, nothing ever appeared publicly. No footage, no proof, no dramatic reveal, but also, and this is what people fixate on, no visible legal strike either. No public lawsuit, no hard shutdown, just silence. To be clear, stories like this circulate in Hollywood constantly.
I've done so many videos about this with the file numbers because he has the lawsuit when she was sued to be evicted from her apartment in 1996 for not having paid rent. It's there. It's public domain. But the other file, it's been sealed. She got so wrapped up in telling the news that she just blurred it out.
Most are nonsense and usually handled quickly. Lawyers step in, statements are released, the story disappears. This one didn't. Instead, lingered, resurfacing from time to time, quietly sidestepped, never fully answered, never fully erased. When audiences heard this after noticing the family gaps, the Netflix tension, the PR maneuvering, it stopped feeling random. It felt like another piece people weren't meant to focus on. True or not, once something like that is spoken aloud, it shifts the mood. Because now the question isn't, is this real? It becomes, why is this being handled differently than everything else?
Nobody does that, Meghan. Why? Because it would go absolutely everywhere, all over your food, in your drinks. Don't do it. Your hostess will not be very happy. But it was really bad. And yes, it was awkward. I'd say there was more awkwardness in that episode than what I had seen in any of the others. She and Naomi Osaka had me wanting to put a cushion over my face like a horror film. Both Naomi came across as really lovely, but the friction, honestly, it was just painful. Those two women couldn't be on different.
Then the cleanup arrived. Just as clips were spreading, ratings talk was picking up, and TV panels were speaking more freely, People magazine suddenly published a very specific kind of piece. Not reporting, not news, but reassurance. The wording said it all. Perfect alignment. No tension. Just everything is stronger than ever. That's not how steady situations speak. That's how damage control sounds. Because when things are truly fine, no one feels the need to announce it loudly.
To one of the most famous families in the world. She wants you to know that she married into the most famous families in the world. Millions were watching her every move. But behind closed doors, she was grappling with the sudden reality that her father would not be walking her down the aisle because he had 2 heart attacks. I mean, Meghan left this out. Thomas was due to attend, but then found himself in a worldwide media scandal when he was caught staging paparazzi snaps of himself, preparing for the wedding in order to make a quick buck.
You don't see other couples putting out emotional status updates for the public. You don't see strong brands insisting how strong they are. This only happens when someone wants a narrative shut down immediately, and the timing made it clear. This article didn't follow a win. It followed awkward footage, soft streaming numbers, and conversations escaping the usual safe zones. People has always been friendly territory, which is exactly why this felt less like celebration and more like containment. Instead of settling things, it raised red flags. Viewers read it as, why are you explaining this? Who is this for? What are you trying to get ahead of? When PR starts speaking in soft cushions and pillows, audiences assume there's a fire nearby. And once people sense panic, they don't back off. They lean in closer. Here's why all of this hit at once.
She left the royal family to allegedly sign a $100 million deal with Netflix and $20 million deal with Spotify because she married into the royal family. The desperate pleas from Thomas and his family for Meghan to make contact are hardly going to encourage the Duchess to change her mind, given their constant condemnation and legal threats. And there you have it.
For years, certain questions were treated as untouchable. Say the wrong thing, and the conversation ended. But that control is slipping. The criticism isn't coming from one place anymore. It's coming from every direction. From people who don't look or sound alike, who can't all be dismissed with a single label. Add the timing. A Netflix project that wasn't shielded. Live television saying what used to stay whispered. Old clips coming back because no one rushed to wipe them away. PR suddenly talking too much, too fast. Once a topic reaches mainstream TV, its status changes, even if people argue about it.
That is me interviewing Kevin Blatt, who was very kind enough to come on my channel talking about Meghan Markle's sex tape. Yes, he did have the sex tape in his hands. He was shopped the sex tape. They asked him to come and basically shop the sex tape to anybody who might want to buy it. He is a Hollywood fixer. He's the one who was sued by Paris Hilton, and she won for leaking her sex tape.
Even if nothing is ever confirmed, it's now part of the public conversation. You can't pretend it never existed. And the reason this won't disappear is simple. The story feels incomplete. The missing years were never explained. The silence was never broken. The reactions don't match the messaging. People don't need hard proof to keep watching. They just need the feeling that something doesn't add up. That's why viewers keep replaying, why clips continue to spread, why every new appearance gets picked apart.
We learned from those reports emanating from the Sussex Survivors Club earlier this week, Angela, that when Harry's around, Meghan controls some of her worst behaviour, especially with the staff. Do you think Doria has that moderating influence too, or does she just act like the diva that she is even around her own?
Not because everyone agrees on one idea, but because too many questions were left open for too long. And once people sense a story has missing pages, they don't move on. They wait. If this is raising more questions than answers, don't leave yet. Share your thoughts in the comments. Send this to someone who's been following this story closely. And make sure you're subscribed, because the next chapter is already taking shape, and it's not going to stay quiet.